Okay, I'm gonna basically go over like kind of my raw thoughts, and then we'll go over kind of what it is, because I don't want to say it in this kind of way, but I'm just gonna ask you, this is what I thought you were saying, and you will tell me what you were. So the first thing that really came to me was this concept of this Jacob and Esau characters being similar to a Cain and Abel character. Because really what happens in a Cain and Abel, it's the same kind of representation where you have one that's meek and timid, and here that's Abel, so they depict him in this light. And then you have Cain, who is like this, like flesh, sheep, making sacrifices, and this guy's gardening. Okay? So like I kind of felt that same way with Jacob and Esau. Like Esau representing the carnal body, the carnal desires, and Jacob representing more like a spiritual higher mindset, more of what God desires as opposed to this dedication to the flesh.
Yep.
So you can speak on that. I thought you were saying that, but go ahead.
So carnal desires, Esau. The spiritual nature of the Most High, Jacob. Right? Spiritual nature is going to be, what do you know about the Most High? Right? His grandmother, Jacob, is Sarah, the angel who told them, is there anything to her to the Most High? Okay? So in this story, Jacob is basically asking the Most High, is it anything too hard to take this inheritance from this guy in the story, period? Okay? Because he is a physical aspect, he is the earth, right? But I'm the brains.
Who's the earth and who's the brains?
Esau is the earth, Jacob is the brains.
But then why is it like an inheritance thing, like one person is getting over the other as opposed to them both having that as their inheritance?
The king of Albion is Prince Charles, okay? Imagine, that's the older brother, that in their succession of line, they've done that for hundreds of years, okay? But for somehow, the younger brother, I don't know his name, is actually the king of England.
Because what?
Because he stole the inheritance somehow. And he stole it so much, so good, that on TV, when he goes and when they do all the pomp and circumstance, that's who you see, and not the eldest, not the traditional one.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
You understand?
Then there's this concept of an inheritance. And last week we were talking about, or the week before that, we were talking about the prodigal son. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you were talking about that, and that made me, I don't know, for some reason that made me think of the prodigal son and what is the definition of the inheritance that you are either squandering, and that's what the word prodigal, we discussed that before, represents, versus, and I think that's the feeling that they were giving about Esau and how he felt about the inheritance, that it's like, this is nothing. To the point that I would, if I'm really hungry, I would give it away for a bowl of chow, right? So like this kind of like dismissive nature, right? Mm-hmm. Like the same thing like the prodigal son, kind of like that, but in fact it being like the magic words on your life.
Yes. Okay. Now, very good, interesting contrast to the prodigal son. Because again, the Bible does not say when he came to himself in the mud, how long it took him to get back.
Right.
Or what he did.
Right.
Okay. So.
Oh, he was scheming too, though.
Okay.
Because he was like, I gotta come back. Well, he schemed to get his inheritance in the first place because he begged his father. From the perspective that I always thought, it was like something that he kind of hounded his father, like, give me this thing, give me this inheritance. And then, like, he was like, fine, I'll give it to you.
It has her name on it, maternal name, okay? And it says, Sheba, in legalese, okay, we possess 200 metric tons of pure gold in the safe.
Gold bars, please.
It is the inheritance of your eldest sister.
That's not nice.
It's not nice. Okay?
That's not
but
nice.
That is the story. Okay. Your mother says, I don't want the eldest to get it.
I want you to get it.
What the youngest did, how she managed the affairs. When she gets this 200 billion metric tons, what does the Bible say? Say it again. An abundance of grain, many may people serve you, and nations bow down to you. That's why I say, if you stop right there, if nations are bowing down to you, you want this inheritance.
You're the superpower, yeah.
Be Lord and Master over your brothers.
Yeah.
And may your mother's sons bow down to you.
Yeah.
Okay? And may those who curse you be cursed. And may those who bless you inheritance.
You want that.
You want that inheritance. You want this 200 billion metric tons, because once you get it,
nothing can stop you.
Come on.
I understand. Because like that's what I'm saying. That's why it has to go back conceptually, because God had already blessed Abraham and his seed, and they're part of his seed, so they would be blessed. But you're trying to imply that like now Jacob was going to get a super substantial, super blessing.
The blessing, as you see, goes either way. That's why it says the sun shines on the wheat and the sun shines on the thorns that prick you.
Yeah.
The sun shines on the thorns essentially to prick you.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
So, and then of course my favorite concept of it all is like this idea of like blindness shifting from something that in a negative way is not revealing the truth to a true way to really see what's going on around you. So now Isaac, instead of using his senses, is using his feeling, his smell to determine who is a person, to identify the person he's talking to, and determine that person is there worthy of the blessing. And does the Bible say that when Isaac was blessing Jacob instead of Esau, did he say, Esau? He didn't name the person. He could have just said Esau. He just went into it. Because you are the one.
He followed the tradition. this is the beauty of the story. He followed the tradition where the firstborn is supposed to get it.
Right.
Your older sister is supposed to get it. But your father, though blind, still has, in my opinion, heightened senses of what others don't utilize. Hearing, touch. So you deceived your blind father.
Blind justice.
Okay? Blind justice. You deceived your father so well that he thought he was giving this inheritance to the older sister.
Yeah.
That's how masterful you accomplished the scheme to take this inheritance.
And now this other concept that you kind of alluded to but didn't really talk about is the concept of Jacob being the heel catcher.
Because
for some reason the heel catcher, I don't know, now I'm out of mind, everything reminds me of something else. For some reason it almost sounds like somebody who is like in the nick of time, lucky in a sense, like how like that last ditch effort, to me, I know heel catcher means like he was trying to drag him back, like I'm supposed to be first. Yes. Do you understand? But like for some reason, that to me sounds like this last ditch effort, and I started to think of the hem of his garment for some reason, and kind of those related thoughts. Did you feel like some of that was kind of related in your mind?
Because in the hem of the garments, right? What the lady with issue of blood did is that she reached in her mind the mind of Christ. Within that,
the circle of Willis.
The circle of Willis. Once that was stimulated, Christ, in Christ's name, in Christ's nature, she initiated within herself the same belief that Yeshua had to heal people. She initiated that within herself to heal herself.
Yeah.
That's why Jesus Christ comes back and says, somebody touch my garment now.
I have to give a movie reference.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just thinking about Guardians of the Galaxy in that part where they're all holding the stones. And really the only one who is like a demigod is Quill. But all his friends, when they want to share this power, to basically, win whatever is happening in this movie, is like they're all sharing that. Like it's all equally, even though they don't technically have this kind of power, but it's all flowing through them as equally as it's flowing through him. So it's like, I think like now you're reaching up and you're grabbing that kind of power, and you have it in your hand too, which otherwise wouldn't be yours. Yes.
She healed herself. Okay, so Jacob, yes, in a sense, it is kind of like a latch. It seems like a last-ditch effort, is what I would say. But he planned this moment.
Yeah.
This is the moment.
Well, that means that even within the womb, he knew he deserved it. He was like, Yeah. All right. I want you to speak a little bit about this concept of conspiracy against limitation and the illusion of opposition.
It's better to have an opponent than an enemy, okay? And that's what really all oppositions are. They're just an opponent for the moment, okay? And now, if you conspire for whatever obstacle that is in front of you, it will find its demise, okay? Because opponents are meant to be defeated, like just by the very word of it. If there's an opponent, and obviously it's not like Goliath or fear, where you're trembling, oh my gosh, it's not an opponent. And the point is something that you can beat. If you're going to conspire, basically, you can conspire to now defeat this opponent.
All right, one last concept is I like the part where you said, I have never seen the righteous or right thinking forsaken.
Back to the illicit cargo that comes into this country. Okay? It works. I'm sorry. It works.
What does that have to do with the righteous?
Because it still takes logistics. It still takes thought. Now they have to circumvent customs and this and all this stuff. You know what I mean? It still takes right thinking.
The organized crime.
Organized crime. Okay, that's why I say for Jacob to now steal this inheritance, okay, for you to steal this 200 metric tons from your sister, I mean, I would think you would put a lot of thought into it. I know it's hard.
It's like a heist.
It's a heist, but that's how much you want it.
That's not what you wanted. Don't we love those heist movies anyways?
They're the best
And
ones.
it's really, I guess I've been resisting this thought. I'm resisting this thought so fervently. But like literally, if you think about it, the reason we love the heist movies so much, the Ocean's 11s and I mean a million heist movies, is really because of how clever and how deceptive the con is, and like how many different moving pieces are within to pull this thing off.
Yes.
You know, and I mean, the reality is, Thomas Crown Affair, but just showing like the willingness to do all of these intricate details to make sure that you get this thing.
So
and
those-
they really just, Rebecca and Jacob really did put the disguise on and do the whole thing.
It seems to bind in a joyful way. Okay? Man, that Ocean's 11, the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, this is quick.
Yeah, I know, that's why it's so good.
Maybe they pulled it off.
It was very complex.
This, I would say, and now some would say, and I'm going to say, I mean, the most I've heard, like, yeah, I'll do that.
All right. That was, you can squeeze this in something.
Yeah. Next slide, questions?
Yes.
Wonderful.